So Paul was your twin brother?
Yes.
Tell me about why you think you were lucky, or he was lucky.
Well, Paul was lucky because even though he spent 20 years in a state hospital, 9 years cycling in and out of the ER, getting picked up by police, going through periods without food, being preyed upon by drug dealers, foot fungus, lung cancer. He was not shot by police. He was never homeless. He was never arrested. He was never in prison. He never killed anyone. He was never assaulted. And that seems to be the norm today.
Hello, my name is Dr. Steven Seeger. I've been a psychiatrist for 25 years. I've written several books about the plight of the seriously mentally ill, most recently in Behind the Gates of Gomorrah, A Year with the Criminally Insane. But I'm not here to talk about books. I'm here to talk about a movie my team and I are making called Shattered Families: The Collapse of the American Mental Health System. A movie which we'd like you to help support. Shattered Families is a film about the American mental health system, a system so broken that family members feel lucky when their mentally ill relative dies of lung cancer instead of what usually happens to persons with serious mental illness. They can be shot by the police, starve on our streets, or simply rot away in prison. What you need to know is that things weren't always like this. In 1959, there were 350,000 Americans with serious mental illness, schizophrenia, schizoaffective disorder, and bipolar disorder, by and large getting treatment in hospitals. They weren't in prison. Mentally ill persons didn't live on the streets. The phrase homeless mentally ill didn't exist. Move ahead 50 years and the situation is quite different. There are now 1.3 million mentally sick persons in prison. Many others have died, their lifespan on average being 20 years shorter than before, and 350,000 people scrape by on our urban streets. How on earth did this happen? It resulted from a mid-20th century political and social movement called deinstitutionalization. In the 1950s and 60s, the idea became popular that closing the state mental hospitals in order to save money was a good idea. Patients would be better served, it was agreed, if they got treatment in their hometowns. So the hospitals were closed and the mentally ill people sent packing. The hometowns, however, were never consulted. Almost universally, every city in America said, "No thanks, we don't want an influx of psychotic people." But the patients were sent anyway. It was the largest forced relocation of people in U.S. history. America's sickest brain disease patients traded a hospital bed for the curb, a prison cell, or a coffin. And this is how it remains today. The system doesn't work for anyone. Not the patients, not their families, or the police, or the prisons, or the public. In Shattered Families, we will explore this American disaster from the perspective of the families of these displaced patients. Shattered Families will tell of a mental health system driven by laws that actively deny patients the care they need. We will outline government policies upon which billions are spent that recommend, I kid you not, yoga and smoothies as an answer to these serious problems. We will explore a system supported by for-profit prison companies which pay investors based upon incarcerating increasing numbers of mentally ill inmates. Shattered Families will give a public voice to what has until now been a private pain, a family's pain, the pain shared by 10 million family members of the seriously mentally ill. That's where you come in. We need money to finish our film, to make it the kind of film of which we can all be proud. Any amount is greatly appreciated. We have an IndieGoGo funding campaign running right now. Please click on IndieGoGo.com and enter Shattered Families. You can be part of something important, part of the solution. Give what you can. Any donation, small or large, is greatly appreciated. Tell your family and friends. Share this on Facebook. Tweet on Twitter. Just please help. And finally, personally, from me and my team to you, thank you so much for watching, and thank you in advance for your help.